Oh,
We're all gonna
yeah.
die. We're all gonna die.
The sports are coming.
This is how the world ends.
We're
Pretty much.
gonna bring Pele out. He's gonna talk some more.
Oh God, no.
We are gonna bring about the apocalypse. I would see that happening, you know.
Somehow our podcast ends up resulting in the death of everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds about right, honestly. That's my projection for this podcast.
I mean, we are sufficiently weird. I could see that happening.
Oh,
We end up muttering nonsense that turns out to be the summoning of some Lovecraftian horror that just ends everything.
that was my plan from day one. Just have to get us there.
Well, I mean, Sony somehow managed to pull it off. Except it was a good thing.
Yeah.
Are you calling Kojima Lovecraftian horror?
Yes.
I would not disagree with that.
Oh, I like him. He
Well,
makes good things, and he's a nice person.
Well, like in Lovecraft, usually the most interesting characters are the horrors, so it's a positive thing, actually.
I remain unconvinced, but okay.
I mean, definitely most interesting.
Yeah.
Oh God, I just realized a game that I need to do a playthrough of at some point for the channel. It's from what I understand, it's considered to be absolutely terrible, but I rented it once for like half a week and loved it. It was an old PS2 RPG called The Legends of Alendar.
Oh, wow.
Have either of you heard of it at all?
I've heard of it, but I've never
If
seen
I
it.
have, I don't remember it. I need to Google it.
Yeah, I had to look it up one day because it was on my mind, and I was like, I know, like I didn't know what the name of it was, but I knew enough details about the game that I was able to go through and find it online. It was like, oh, everyone considers it garbage. Well, that's sad. I remember really liking it. I need to revisit that at some point because, like I said, I only played it once for a few days when I was like 12. So revisiting it now, I'd be curious to see what I think of it.
What's how you spell the name? Alendar.
Yeah, The Legends of Alendar. So ALON''DAR. I think that's like the name of their world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely a PS2 or a RPG name.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. I'm looking right at it.
Oh yeah, the box art is just so terribly generic. It's great.
Sky was hand up in a tattoo in his hand. That's,
Yep, it's 100% PS2 RPG.
Yep. And this actually got like the in-game model of the character on it. Oh, that's brilliant.
Alright, well, for those of us who've never tuned into this podcast before, this is our annual E3 podcast discussing all of the good stuff that went on, which, man.
Emphasis on good stuff.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
thinking about it, like, this year, the highs were really high, but man, like,
The lows were really EA. I mean,
In the lowest, there was nothing there. It's just a big empty black void. We stare at the screen like, what the hell?
so, in most of my notes, like, I'm looking through all the conferences, I'm like, this game looks boring as shit, this game looks boring as shit. So,
Remember to play, everyone.
pretty much. God, I hate that. No, you need to experience play. We're going to help you experience, but I'm like, God, that's so stupid. Just, ugh. It drives me crazy. So the first conference, going in chronological order, EA was the first, but, like, Titanfall 2 is the only thing of note. Oh yeah, we gotta talk about
well, no, it's notable that they delayed the new Mass Effect again.
Oh,
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's what I wanted to bring up. I didn't even have that in my notes because I got so fucking angry about it. But yeah, so the new Mass Effect is supposed to be coming out in like early next year, and they still haven't showed any gameplay or anything.
there was there was some leaked stuff that seemed like some gameplay and a couple cutscenes like 2 months back, I think, that looked pretty good. But that's it as far as I'm aware.
It basically shows a behind-the-scenes development view, and that was it. It was just like, we're coming along with it, guys. We're doing stuff, and it's like, great. Come back when you got something to show.
It's not coming out. I'd say maybe holiday 2017 or 2018. Like, there's no way it comes out if they don't have anything to show yet.
Andromeda is going to become the next Final Fantasy 15, where it's just, we're totally doing things, and it's going to be great. And then another year passes with basically nothing heard about it. And then 6 years from now, they'll be like, oh, it's Mass Effect Alpha Centauri now, and here's actual stuff, and now it actually looks really good. Sorry for the wait.
Yep, like, I was saying this during the conference, but I think the negative reaction to Inquisition, like, they were basing Andromeda off of all their new systems in Inquisition, and people are like, no, fuck Inquisition, so now EA's kind of like,
Wait, really? I've heard almost exclusively positive things about Inquisition.
It's like how you go to the war table and everything is timer based, like how the open world was pretty much empty, as most open worlds are.
I honestly didn't know about any of that. I have it, technically. I got it like way on sale for like $6 or something. I still haven't played it though.
Yeah, it's like the first, I'd say, 10 hours, 15 hours are like mind-blowingly amazing, but then it just gets like, okay, well now everything is pretty much the same, and it just follows the same formula throughout the rest of the game, and you're just kind of like, eh. It was kind of disappointing. Like, I'm like a huge diehard Dragon Age fan. I even like 2, but Inquisition it was a misstep.
So full disclosure, Dragon Age 2 is the only one I've ever actually played, and I liked it a lot.
What?
It's really good.
I own Inquisition and I own Origins, but I've still not played either of those two. Like, I understood the complaints about Dragon Age 2, but without context for how they were steps down, I still thought it was a perfectly entertaining game.
They're just all different genres. Like, Dragon Age Origins is an old-school isometric RPG. Dragon Age 2 is closer to like a Musou game, and the Inquisition is
Musou, no, there's not enough enemies at a time for that. An action game, yes, but it's not a Musou game.
Well, the way they keep sending hordes of enemies at you, and the boss fights being hordes of enemies plus one big dude.
I don't know if I describe more like somewhat medium-sized groups as hordes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Musou is like you're gonna mow down a few thousand enemies by the end of a mission. Dragon Age, you're gonna mow down like maybe 60 by the end of a mission.
I'm trying to give BioWare some credit, like I'm trying to.
I don't think that comparing a company to Koei counts as giving them credit by most definitions.
Well, I like Musou.
Don't get me wrong, I like them too, and they've got a lot of good games, but I mean, I don't know, for anyone who used to watch X-Play, they had an annual thing, they had like the Golden Mullet Awards, which was inspired by the terrible Aquaman game on PS2, and it was where they would, shame bad games for the year, and they always had a segment for like the newest terrible Koei game that was just called Why We Still Mock Koei. Every year for like 4 years in a row, they had a Why We Still Mock Koei segment. It was hilarious.
That's pretty great, actually.
Oh, excellent.
So, anyone...
I miss X-Play. I miss old G4. Like, it just slowly died and then became something else, and I miss it. That was like one of the only channels worth watching.
Yep. Like, seeing Sessler and Webb again for which conference were they hosting?
Hey, what?
I didn't know they were hosting a conference.
Yeah, they were hosting someone's conference, or hosting a show or something at E3. They started doing it every year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I forgot who they were doing it for, though.
Hey, was it? Sorry, I missed the names.
Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Yeah.
Oh.
They were the hosts of X-Play.
Yep.
And
I
they
don't know.
occasionally did other stuff on G4, like they would fill in on Attack of the Show and things like that.
Yeah, Grim wouldn't know
Oh
because
God, I miss Attack of the Show. I watched that every day. It was always great. All right, now I'm getting all nostalgic. Let's go back to mocking EA.
so Titanfall 2. Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
And an emphatic meh was had. I
If
mean,
you-
it's more of the same. It's something that people are going to get really hyped about for a couple months before it comes out. They're going to play it and think it's amazing for a couple months. And then later in the year, you'll mention it and people will be like, wait, what game?
yeah.
Yeah.
If you enjoy the first one, like I said, it's more the same. It's now for the PS4 if you care, and it has a single player. I can't talk about changes because I didn't play it, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the PS4 thing is honestly the most surprising part. And it's kind of part of a trend of this E3, but I guess we can wait until the Microsoft bit to talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean, just like they showed Titanfall 2, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. And then you immediately have Bethesda, and they're like, oh hey guys, Quick Champions, and I'm like, oh well, like
We'll get to that in a minute.
yeah. So, that's all I have for EA was hey Titanfall 2.
I mean, I had ranting about sports, basically just me screaming, no, make it stop, repeatedly. I got captured by soccer, according to Jim.
Yep,
Yeah.
they're coming for him. That's what they said at the conference.
Oh, that's right, there was the Star Wars thing.
Was
They
there?
said that they were going to be making 3 new Star Wars games. One was
Wait,
going to
really?
be another, yeah. One was going to be Battlefront, made by they'd taken in the feedback apparently and absorbed it into their being. So now they're actually going to make a decent Battlefront game, hopefully.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah, there's going to be another game made by Visceral. I believe aren't they the Saints Row people?
I think so.
Uh,
I know they
Yeah.
did something that was a lot of fun.
yeah, Saints Row.
Yeah, right, yeah. So, and the last one is going to Respawn Entertainment.
Visceral Games. They did
They
the
make
Godfather games. They did Dead Space.
Yeah,
Volition, that's
the
who we're
Dead
thinking
Space
of.
is what I
I'm-
was thinking of them from.
I was
Yeah,
thinking of
oh,
Volition.
dude, a Star Wars game in the style of Dead Space, that I would be all about.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
But here's the thing, though. The Star Wars section was basically a bunch of people talking about how much they like Star Wars, and then there was nothing. It's just like, that's the theme of EA's conference. It's just a load of nothing.
So
If you care about Battlefield, or
I'll
Titan-
admit I didn't watch the EA conference, but isn't it true that they just repeatedly talked about how cringe things were? Or was that Ubisoft? I know one of the
Ubisoft.
conferences got a lot of flack for just constantly talking about cringe. It was like, really? Is that
Yeah, that was-
necessary?
Ubisoft because Aisha Tyler.
Oh yeah, that's right. I wasn't paying attention to the the Ubisoft conference. In fact, like the stream I was watching, the Twitch stream, was watching the PC Gamer one, and then they cut off like as they were talking to a guy about one of the games, and I'm like, no! So I immediately ran over to the PC Gamer one and missed like half of the Ubisoft one.
Yeah, I slept through the Ubisoft one. I didn't even know they had one, so. But
Yeah. The only other thing that EA did was Battlefield 1. I don't really care.
yeah, I mean,
I know a lot of people are excited for it, but as far as I mean, I think it's good to go in a different direction than we've had for the last 10 some odd, probably closer to 8 years of FPS that have all been slowly getting more and more, future tech and gritty and blah blah blah. Like World War I should be a big shakeup, so I'm interested to see how this affects the FPS market overall, especially compared to the fact that they're going back to World War I, and COD is going to future space fights.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not personally interested in the game, but I'm interested to see how it affects the dynamics of the genre, if at all.
I'm also kind of interested to see how they handle it, like what they do during the game itself. But yeah, the only thing I have of note in my notes, aside from the release date, is that the guy was talking about how a guy walked into his office and pitched him like a Battlefield World War One game. And it's like, yeah, that sounds so Battlefield. And I'm like, you had to have the pitch to you. Do you know how much that's been theory crafted?
I mean, Battlefield 1942 was their big Battlefield thing for so long, and that's a World War II one, and everybody loved that. It was one of the most beloved shooters for a whole damn long time, along with CS:GO. So you would think it wouldn't have been that hard for them to come up with this.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even know anymore. God damn it, EA. Shall we go to a more exciting conference?
Bethesda?
Yeah.
All right, works for me.
So Quake Champions, it's a hero-based shooter.
Yep.
A lot of those going around right now.
We didn't really see much about the game itself. We saw like it basically, freaking just a trailer that wasn't gameplay. So I forgot. Like I was just trying to I was struggling there just to get words. It was like, what kind of trailer was it, Graham? I'm like, trailer.
Yep. No, Quake is back. It looks just like, well, from the cinematic we saw, it looks fast-paced, and Overwatch is pretty much like, hey, everybody, let's do hero-based shooters. Like,
yeah, and now everybody is. And Battleborn's over in the corner, just crying because it never even had a chance.
Yeah,
Battleborn
died.
Never heard of it.
It's RIP game I never realized existed.
Pretty much.
Yeah, Yahtzee had his review on Battleborn and Overwatch this week, and I think he probably summed it up pretty accurately in that Battleborn was dead before it even came out because everyone collectively decided to like Overwatch.
Yeah.
Which, admittedly, by all accounts, Battleborn is kind of boring and isn't as well put together, but still, it's a little depressing to think that there were two similar games coming out at the same time, and everyone was, pretty much just like, all right, we're gonna like this one, the other one can screw off.
Well, yeah. Battleborn's a MOBA, so I was already like, yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah, it's a mobile MOBA. That's
Yeah. Go on.
I was about to just go back to Quake for a second because I just realized something I forgot to talk about. Do you know at the very beginning of the gameplay trailer where there was like a DOS line?
Oh, that's the secret announcement for the new Wolfenstein.
Yeah, New Giant. That appeared in there. Like it had a bunch of somebody screen capped it, and it had a bunch of all of their most of their games thus far, and the date next to it, and it had new _ giant, and then asterisk where the release date was. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I like that they snuck in a surprise announcement along with other stuff that people had to actually decode. They were like, no, we're not just going to give this to you. That's one thing I really appreciate about Bethesda is they always make their stuff fun. Like they've got PR down. They're just really entertaining and approachable. Like all of the main Bethesda people that are actually known by the public are just cool guys. Like Todd Howard, anytime he's out on stage, you want to listen to what he has to say because he's just a fun guy.
It's true.
And then they do little things like that, like sneak in an announcement on a really brief page with a bunch of DOS text. And before Skyrim came out, they released a whole bunch of things in the Draconic language and gave you just a couple letters of a cipher to puzzle it out and figure out a secret message and all that. They're just good at PR.
Yep.
Yeah. And if that's all I've got to say, it's just like, yeah. I can't say anything else.
Sorry.
That's fine.
No, but I agree though. Like, Bethesda's good at what they do. Like, okay, you go to Gearbox, and everyone, like, the general consensus about Gearbox is like, well, fuck those guys. Like,
I don't know. I like Gearbox. It's just they're very on again, off again.
it's well because Randy Pitchford and things he's been doing in the industry, like he's been taking money for projects and using that to fund his own side projects, and it's like, what?
Yeah,
Like,
Pitchford's a dick.
yeah,
But
and so
overall, I do tend to like Gearbox.
Yeah.
I liked Borderlands 1 a whole bunch.
I liked Borderlands 1 a lot, and I thought Borderlands 2 pretty much just directly improved on everything.
Yeah, Borderlands 2 felt soulless to me. It felt like,
Really?
yeah,
Interesting, because that's very much the opposite. I would say that Borderlands 2 was so much more soulful than 1, because now you've got characters that have actual personality, there's a good plot line, Handsome Jack is an entertaining villain.
yeah. I think
Like,
that's what killed it for me. Like, it was too polished. Like, Borderlands 1 had that jank.
really?
Yeah, it's, well, I also like games like Two Worlds 2 because they got that jank in them.
Yeah, that's the. I still can't accept that you like that game. I just keep telling myself, no, it's ironic. It has to be, even if he doesn't realize it.
Yeah, I just like that jank in games. Like, it feels, well, because it's like, when it's rough around the edges, it feels more genuine to me. It's like, you know, we're doing what we can, and that's sort of like why I like Compile Heart games, because you can
See,
tell what they want.
but at the same time, just to play devil's advocate, you're big on Nintendo games.
This is true.
And Nintendo is arguably the most polished developer out there. Like, if you buy a Nintendo game, one of the main draws is that thing is going to be polished to a mirror sheen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how they do all of their first party IPs. Like any Zelda game, any Mario game, it's, with the exception of a few missteps like Paper Mario Sticker Star, and I'm not even giving it a chance, the upcoming Federation Force, like almost all of their first party IPs are just some of the most polished games out there. That's why they're such a big thing.
Yeah, but Nintendo still feels like, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels like they put love into their game. In some other games, it feels like they're just cashing out. Like, okay, well, The Witcher's a good example. Like, I haven't played it yet, but from what I've seen of it, it feels like you can tell that CD Projekt Red like really cares about the game.
Oh, absolutely, they do.
Like, they care about like every little detail. When I played Borderlands 2, it felt like, okay, yeah, we're gonna mechanically make this game better. We're gonna systemically make this game better. But it just felt sort of hollow. It's like, okay, well, we know what's wrong with the first one, so we're just gonna make a better one of those. And I'm like, hmm. But the first one felt more like a passion project.
Interesting. See, there were just so many little touches in Borderlands 2 that felt like they were something that would only be put there by people who were just having a good time of it. Like the quest you get from Handsome Jack, where if you kill yourself by throwing yourself off a waterfall, he will give you a whole dickload of money.
Yeah.
But you will forever have to know that, to quote him, he made you his bitch. But if you don't want to do it, then you can just call the Hyperion suicide hotline, but you'll forever know that you were a coward who wasn't willing to do it. Or, like, stuff like that is just really interesting to me. Like, that's not something you would ever normally expect in a AAA title. Someone put that in because they were just having a good time of it. Or, like,
Yeah.
there's a quest where there's a bandit whose name is Shooty McFace, who gives you the quest, shoot me in the face. So you shoot him in the face and he dies, and the quest is over. But that's the whole thing. But it's just, it makes no sense whatsoever. But it's hilarious, and there's no reason for it to be there. It's just a funny little thing that someone put in. Like
Yeah.
little bits like that all over the game make it feel like it was just something that the people making it had a good time doing. To me.
Yep.
To you.
I don't know why it feels that way to me. It's just like ever since I played the first one, it just like it never resonated with me like Borderlands 1 did. I don't know.
I mean, it's all personal preference.
Yeah. Oh, there goes my
Okay.
phone. I'm
What?
so glad no one heard that. This loud ga-gung as my phone fell.
And there goes my phone.
Yeah, pretty much. Bethesda.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wow, we kind of detoured hard from them.
Yeah, I kind of just zoned out because everyone was talking about Borderlands, and I was like, okay.
We're getting Fallout Shelter DLC for Fallout 4.
Yeah, that is really exciting to me. Like, oh, you can build a vault and then experiment on the residents. Like, oh god, I'm going to become such an evil monster, and I'm gonna love every minute of it.
Yeah. The only problem out of those is like half of it was just like talking about, well, we've got contraptions coming up, then we've got vaults, and then, oh hey, that new expansion, Nuka World, yeah, ignore that. And then just walks over to Fallout Shelter update, like, what?
Yep. No, what I'm gonna do is, like, people have been discussing about they made a vault with all females. I'm gonna recreate a vault experiment. I'm gonna recreate multiple vault experiments in one vault.
Oh, I'm not sure how well that would work.
I'm gonna have all females and one male. I'm also gonna segregate them with key cards. I'm gonna have
Oh,
like the
God.
races segregated. I'm gonna have
Jesus.
Oh my, you're a monster.
yes.
Worse than the government. Confirmed.
It's
Yeah.
like who gets the mail? And that's the secret. I'm gonna make the male the overseer of all these females.
Oh, God. Nepotism at its finest. I mean,
Yep.
in a way. Not definitively, but in a way.
Yeah, I just want to see like how this would all play out. I'm sure it won't be that deep, but in my mind, when I'm role playing this,
Yeah, I am.
Well,
That's
look
one
up
thing
the-
I'm really curious is how deep they're gonna make the whole experimentation mechanic, because there's a lot they could do with it, and it could be amazing if they do it right, but it could be really boring if they do it wrong.
I mean, anything they don't do, models will do for them, so.
Very true. But for those of us who play on console, that's a
well,
trickier
actually,
proposition.
consoles consoles have mods now.
Yep.
PS4 hasn't gotten it quite yet, I don't believe.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And apparently it's going to be more limited than the Xbox version, I believe.
Yeah,
In terms of how many you
Bethesda
have.
has always had kind of an, not quite, but kind of an exclusivity thing with Microsoft.
Yep. Right.
Yeah.
For some reason, Bethesda things tend to come to Microsoft sooner and a bit nicer than they do to Sony. Which, I mean, that's understandable in a way, but
Yeah. PS3 Skyrim, never forget.
flying elephants.
I still remember I still remember Oblivion on PS3. Never got Shivering Isles until the Game of the Year edition came out.
Yep.
Never came on store. I was waiting for ages.
You know, actually, I got Shivering Isles on 360 because a friend had the Game of the Year edition, so I'm not
Yeah.
positive if it was offered separately or not.
I think it was. For 360 at least, I think it was.
Okay, it wouldn't surprise me. I just realized I only ever got it because a friend had the Game of the Year edition, and I downloaded it from the disc, so
Yeah,
I wasn't positive.
the
All
good
right.
old days.
Just a second, going back to the Fallout mods for a sec. The limit on the Xbox One is 2 gigabytes of mods. On the PS4, however, it's been limited to 900 megabytes.
What?
Jesus, that sucks.
Yeah.
Although I did hear something recently in a news article about how they were going to try and increase the cap on the mod sizes. So maybe that'll improve over time.
It's just so convenient that Xbox One gets 2 gigabytes, where PS4 somehow can't handle it and can only give
Yeah,
it
despite being objectively the more powerful console.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure it has to do with the coding architecture and blah blah, hand wave blah blah.
Of course. Why wouldn't it be?
So,
But on the subject of Skyrim, which was mentioned a minute ago,
yep.
Transition.
Yep, somewhat belated, but a transition nonetheless. I do think it's cool that they're doing the definitive edition thing, so that people who, maybe weren't into gaming, or who are just perhaps becoming old enough, who didn't have Skyrim on previous gen, whatever, can get it on the new gen and it'll look nicer and all that. It's also not surprising, since they've talked about how their base for Fallout 4 was converting Skyrim to new gen.
I think I already know what's going to come in it.
Yeah, but I do think that it's kind of a dick move that, oh yeah, PC players get the whole thing for free if you already have it. Console players, what? Who are you again?
Yep.
Like, the people who already have a better version of the game through mods, if their computer can handle it, which anyone playing Skyrim on computer can probably handle a few mods to make it look better than what they're putting out now, get a free copy. Whereas the people who had it on a system where all you could do was have the base version of the game are going to have to pay full price for it again. It's like, really? Like, I mean, CD Projekt Red had a thing where you could get a discount on some stuff or get an order by just, like, taking a picture of your account page and showing that you have previous Witcher content. Like, why can't you do that too, Bethesda? Why can't I, show you, hey, here's my physical Skyrim case. Hey, here's my downloads page with all of my DLC installed. Why is it only the people who don't even need or want a new copy of the game are going to get it? Other than money, which is the obvious answer.
Well,
everyone can't be as saintly as CD Projekt Red. We all know this.
Yep. Like, I think I said it before in the chat, but like the main reason they would do that is because they need PC people to make mods for the consoles because it's the new engine. And that's pretty much the only reason they'd give it to PC gamers. Because like you said, why would PC gamers even bother with this updated version?
Yeah, I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way. It's like, they basically built the game just for fun anyway when they were building Fallout 4.
Yep.
And they're already going to release it free to a whole major chunk of the player base. It's like, why not just increase your goodwill magnitudinally by extending that offer to the other 2/3 of your player base, rather than making them feel like you're actively snubbing them?
So here's what's going to happen.
It's either do it all the way or don't do it at all, because as it stands, you're just frustrating so many people.
Here's how it's going to happen. It's like, we've heard your pleas, so for Xbox owners...
See, the thing is, I have Skyrim and all the DLC on 360, so I might be able to capitalize on that.
On the Xbox One. And that's, exactly that's how it would happen too.
I mean, my roommate has an Xbox One, so once he gets back in the fall, I mean, I could still make use of it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Happier news. So, did you guys... I know Grim saw it, but have you gotten to check out the new Prey trailer, Kenny?
No, I haven't. I only just yesterday saw that was even a thing that they'd put out.
Oh my god. Yeah, when you get a chance, it's a reboot. They're not making Prey 2.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I thought Prey 2 looked awesome when they showed all the stuff from it, but I hated Prey 1. Like, I played it, I got it on 360 one year, and I played it, and I played a few hours of it, and I was like, I don't understand why people consider this game to be such a big deal. Like, I thought it looked bad, I didn't think it had a particularly, unique premise. It's you got abducted by aliens, shoot up the spaceship. And you couldn't really die because if you got killed, you just had to shoot some birds in a minigame and you pop right back up with all your HP, which kind of removes so much of the challenge. It was like, I didn't understand why the first one was such a big deal. I thought Prey 2 looked amazing when they had all that teaser stuff for it, but I don't know. So if when you say reboot, if you mean it's going to be like a new version of Prey 1, I am emphatically meh.
No,
No.
it's
Okay.
basically a brand new game with the Prey name.
Okay. In that case, I will happily check it out when we're done on here.
Yeah,
If I have time before I need to leave.
Yeah.
I never even knew that Prey 1 was a thing. Like, I didn't hear about it until people started talking about Prey 2. And so going in completely blind, and it's like, oh yeah, here's System Shock 3. Oh no, wait, actually, it's just Prey.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. Awesome. So, yeah, I mean, that's the easiest way to put it, is that they made System Shock 3.
Don't you mean Bioshock? Is
God.
System Shock 3?
God. You made me depressed, because we could have had a System Shock 3. I love Bioshock.
See, that's another one that it's like everyone said it was amazing, and I played it and I didn't get it. I was like, it's okay, it's nothing special.
The
And with
twist.
Bioshock Infinite especially, I was like, this is even less of being anything special or unique than the first one was. Why is it such a big deal?
Bioshock 1 was, like, good because the twist, like, would you kindly? If you didn't know the twist, it was like, holy shit.
Sure.
But after Bioshock 1, they should have gone to System Shock 3.
I think again, the main reason I didn't like Bioshock 1 is it did the same thing with difficulty that Prey did. It's death has no consequence because every 20 feet there's a regeneration chamber that you'll pop up in immediately. And
you
every
could turn
time
them
you
off.
fight a big daddy, there's one within 20 feet of you. So you could honestly just whack him to death with the wrench if you wanted and save all your ammo. There's no reason not to. You're not going to lose anything. You're in fact going to keep things because you're not using up ammo. You'll waste some time, but it's strategically better. It's like you kill all like pacing and sense of danger for me with these huge, intimidating guys that are supposed to have a drill they can ram through you. But if it does that, I'll pop up right next to it like nothing happened. So
I mean, you could
just
turn
you
them
just
off,
wreck the incentive.
so,
Yeah.
What?
It's kind of tough if you do that. Internally,
what?
the timers off.
Okay, I honestly was not aware of that
Yeah.
until just now. I did not know that was an option.
I can't remember where the option is. It's either in the options or it's a difficulty setting, but it's there.
See, if I had known that, I probably would have liked the game a lot more. Because as it stood, I played through like over half of it and just kind of got bored because it never felt like there was actually a challenge. Because I didn't really play smart because I never felt the need to because I could play like an idiot and meet with resounding success.
Yeah.
If I'd known that I could shut off the chambers, that would have made it a lot more interesting to me because then it would have forced me to actually put thought into how I played it rather than, essentially turning it into a run and gun.
Yeah.
Well, shit. I was gonna say, speaking of run and gun, but we don't actually have any solid announcements, so, well.
I mean,
I think the last thing that we haven't really covered from Bethesda is Dishonored 2.
Yeah, I didn't even put that in my notes, because to me it was just such a, well, yeah, then I forgot about it.
I've put everything in my notes. I've got all of it. So the only things we're missing was the Doom DLC for Snap Maps and competitive, which is, I mean, the thing everyone praises about Doom is the single player. So, like they actually ruined the Snap Maps on the PC as well. You'd think it would be the big place for it because it's like you could put like 10 million demons in a line or something and blow them all up with barrels. But no, they didn't do that. Doom fucking Ultimate Doom collection has a better map creator just because you have unlimited resources on the PC. Whereas because it's on the consoles as well, and they made it for the consoles, you're limited to like 10 demons at once. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, from what I understand, the biggest thing about that multiplayer and snap map update is that it's going to be done by id. So that's why a lot of people expect it to make some big changes that'll improve things.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Is because apparently the base content wasn't run by id, but being as, Doom is like their major thing, they're stepping in to fix the places where it's gone wrong.
Yeah, they announced what exactly was coming with it as well. So it's like the competitive multiplayer involves new modes, new maps. The first one I'm bringing out is, well, actually, I put that there for some reason, then I immediately detailed what exactly was going into it. So Unto the Evil is the first one to bring out, which is the map's new demon, a new gun, equip items, armor sets, and more after that. So yeah, that's about the only one they announced, I think. Or did they announce more and I just didn't write them down? I don't know.
I have no idea. All I know is that I heard a lot of people excited about it because id is going to be running all of the new content.
Yeah. The other thing that we didn't mention was TES Online, which they were literally the only reason they brought it up was to put up stats. 570 million mud crabs killed, crab murderers, and in June 23rd they're launching it in Japan.
Hooray!
And then the PS4 and Xbox One get the Dark Brotherhood expansion on Tuesday. And they're taking leveling restrictions, which I don't understand the significance of. So
yeah, I'm sure that all 12 players of Elder Scrolls Online will be really happy about this news.
And,
four on Xbox One, 4 on PS4, and 4 on PC.
Well, actually, it's been a dramatic turn of events.
Traumatic.
Both
events.
All 12 players actually left to go play Zelda because they said it's a better Elder Scrolls experience.
Also, I just saw a thing a couple minutes ago confirming that apparently Monolith has been helping work on Breath of the Wild, which is probably why the open world is so good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that, like, looking at it, I'm like, this looks like Xenoblade scale, which is mind-blowing.
Yep, which is in large part probably because Monolith is working on it. Which, I mean, that's brilliant on Nintendo's part. Monolith is in-house now because they own Monolith, so this is their thing. You may as well get their help to do it right.
Yeah, and, like, if no one's played Xenoblade Chronicles X, the scale of that world, holy shit. Like, I don't know how many Skyrims could fit into it, but based, like, on the Wii U's power. Yeah.
That's just I just love that that's a metric now. It's just how many Skyrims could fit in this area.
Pretty much. But, like, there's no loading screens either for anything. I think you load when you go into interiors?
Yeah, no, there are a few, and unless you have the extra, like, 20 gigabytes of DLC to make things load more quickly, it takes, like, forever.
Yeah, well, I got it digitally because Walmart said to go fuck myself and wouldn't sell it to me. So I'm like, fine, I'll just fucking... I hope I can get hashtag Fire Emblem physically, but we'll see. If I can't get it day one physically, like, I'm not gonna order it from Amazon because I'm not a Amazon Prime member, so I won't get it release date. So.
Well, you could get it release date. You just have to pay like $12, or probably a little more, maybe like 16.
Yeah, but for a lot of games now, they won't do release date delivery.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. That's why I've started getting games digitally again. I'm like, okay, Amazon, well, fuck me, right?
That's interesting. I've been having a lot of luck with Amazon lately, like delivering games way sooner than I thought they would. Like, I had the I forget what it was. There was one that I got that I was expecting to arrive like a week or maybe a week and a half after it came out because I got super slow shipping, and it arrived the day after. I was like, oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah. I think a large part is where I live, which is the middle of nowhere.
That's fair. I'm in one of the largest cities in the U.S., so that probably helps.
Yep. I'm in one of the smallest cities in the U.S.
And Graham is in Australia on vacation and sick.
Yep.
Yep. I'm pretty drowning underwater right now. You just can't hear it.
So
Ignore the fact I'm talking perfectly clearly to you guys.
I think he's secretly a fish man.
I would not be surprised.
Oh. Alright, well, let's see. So, was there anything else significant from Bethesda? Like,
They
Dishonored
talk
2 looks amazing. The first
They
game
talk-
was amazing.
Yep.
The last thing they talked about was that we haven't mentioned. I've actually got an entire write-up of frigging Dishonored 2, like what they showed in Dishonored 2 here, because I wanted to send it to Jim. The VR, they talked about their VR for very, very briefly. They're going to have a demo of Doom in it, which is, I think it's just walking around hell, basically. But they're going to release the full Fallout 4 experience. Or was it the other way around?
Yeah, Fallout 4 VR.
Red Rocket. Fallout 4 Red Rocket. What? Or there's just like, I can't remember. Was it the Fallout 4 demo with Doom full game, or the Doom demo with Fallout 4 full game?
Yeah, I think Fallout 4 is going to be fully playable in VR.
Right.
Doom is
Oh,
a demo.
I totally forgot. That seems really cool, although I bet that's going to require a hell of a rig to run in convincing VR.
That's the big problem. That's the big problem with VR at the moment. It's just because you've got to have such a powerful computer in order to even get it working.
Yeah,
So,
you gotta. From what I understand, you need to be able to push like 90 minimum to make it somewhat convincing. 120 is ideal.
In other words, you got to give your
to make
computer
VR look essentially to make it look right. And it's like Jesus with some of these games. The rig required to run a VR headset for Fallout 4 at 120 frames a second, that's gonna be some like several $1,000 PC rig right there.
Yep.
Yep.
So, my first thought... go on.
One more thing. I forgot to mention that you ranted about the lore for, was it The Elder Scrolls Online when they showed the Dark Brotherhood trailer?
Oh, yeah. So, the Dark Brotherhood... Okay, so The Elder Scrolls Online takes place, like, way before... It's like, I think before Arena, even, which is the first Elder Scrolls game. It's like a war that we've never gotten to read about. It's all only in the history books. And like, oh, yeah, this is the Dark Brotherhood here. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Because the Dark Brotherhood wasn't even a thing until effectively Morrowind, whenever the Assassin branch, I think it was the Morag Tong, like they had a ideological difference. They split up, and so you have the believers of the Night Mother, the Dark Brotherhood, and then you have the Morag Tong, who are more so in it for the money. And it's like, that wasn't... That pisses me off so much. It'd be like going back to caveman paintings, like a prehistoric game, and it'd be like, oh yeah, remember Abraham Lincoln? Yeah, that was awesome, wasn't it? Just because they want to throw him in there. I'm just like, are you...
Well, wait. Did you say the Morag Tong were only in it for money?
I think that was the split.
Because I thought the whole thing was that the Morag Tong considered themselves to be honorable assassins, whereas the Dark Brotherhood would kill anyone that they were asked to, as long as, the Night Mother said it was okay.
Yeah, that could have been it too. Like,
I thought it was that the Morag Tong just basically considered the Dark Brotherhood to be dishonorable, so they became a separate thing where they ran by their own notably more stringent rules.
That could be it. Like, I was going off of the corruption and the politics I remember from Morrowind. I could not remember the exact split.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember it in too much detail, and I could very well be wrong. I'm sure there's an Elder Scrolls lore master who's going to fill our video with a paragraph explaining, what details we missed, which please do. I would love to read it.
I can't wake you up right now.
But
from what I recall, that was the main thing. It was an issue of honor.
Yeah, but either way, the Dark Brotherhood did not exist in the time period that the Elder Scrolls Online is taking place, and just fuck you, Bethesda, fuck ZeniMax, fuck everybody. I'm gonna throw my computer. It's frustrating. Like, I had to read both of the Elder Scrolls books, which are fucking terrible, just to get the lore. Like, the writing in them. It's bad.
Yep.
The first paragraph was, so-and-so fell like something really heavy from the sky. That was the first line I read. The first paragraph, because the guy fell out of the sky. Instead of using lore, no, he fell like something really heavy. I'm like, wow, okay.
Something really heavy.
Let me just, lower my expectations.
I'm sorry, you had expectations for Elder Scrolls Online?
Well, for the lore books for the Elder Scrolls series, because there's two novels.
Oh, yeah, those are the ones that explain how, like, Umbra caused Vardenfell to get destroyed and all that, right?
Yeah. Man. The lore in there is Elder Scrolls lore. The writing, it's not good. It hurt me. It hurt me deeply.
It has scarred your soul.
It's... Okay, even video game writing, I regularly poo-poo on video game writing. Video game writing is several tiers above what I read in those books.
I would say it's not necessarily fair to just say video game writing overall. There's bad game writing and there's amazing game writing.
Okay,
I mean,
worst...
like Fallout, for example, the writing is entertaining, but it's just there to kind of give you something to do. Usually, they're very few and far between are the really detailed, well-written plots. Whereas something like The Witcher, it's hard to find even the most minor of side quests that isn't incredibly well written and detailed. Like it very much varies. I think at this day and age, when we have so much variety in games and game quality and the various developers, I don't think it's necessarily right to say just video game writing overall as though it's a unified thing.
Like, the worst video game you could think of is probably more well-written than these books.
Oh my. That's quite a statement.
It was serviceable. It served its purpose. I got the story that I needed. I know why Umbra isn't in Skyrim. I mean, that's about all I remember. Even, like, okay, oh boy, okay, so even for Elder Scrolls, the zaniness, with all the different realms and all the different gods and things like that, there was some stretches. I'm like, oh man, okay, so, wow, alright, a magical floating island that this guy stole from Umbra's realm. He literally stole land from Umbra, and he's flying it through different realms, and he's trying to get it into Tamriel, Nirn, whatever. And there's these basically lords ruling over the magical floating island, and they're so bored with their lives that instead of eating food, they eat like vapor, or they consume like the idea of food or something. It's
what?
That's
what does that even mean?
Kind of weird. What?
Yeah, and that's one of the main plot points. And then it had a weird, like,
that's one of the main plot points.
Yeah, a weird racial subplot about the Argonians being slaves, which I was like, okay, but no, these aren't real Argonians. They're clones we made from the trees.
Well, I mean, Argonians are canonically supposed to be descended from the trees of Black Marsh anyway.
Yeah, but no.
But why did they need to be clones?
These are literally straight up clones. Like, they die, then they are reborn. Yep.
Okay. Well, glad I never read this.
Yep.
All
you need to know from this is The reason why there's that weird tree in Skyrim, in the first town you get to, I think it's Riverwood, or Riverrun?
Whiterun?
Yeah, Whiterun.
Whiterun.
That weird tree that the worshippers are, it's a tree that doesn't show up anywhere else. That's from one of the Daedric Plains, because the magical floating island. And Umbra isn't in the game, because it got thrown into an alternate dimension. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, I knew the bit about Umbra. Not in too much detail, though.
Yeah,
Just like apparently Umbra tried to confront one of the Daedra on its own plane and was like not having any of that.
Why would you even try that?
yeah.
Umbra's insane and unreasonably powerful, actually.
Yep.
Alright.
And he got bested by Dark Elf.
Okay, so
Yep.
do you guys want to face the most soul-wrenching moral quandary that you've faced in probably your entire life?
Go ahead.
I was just browsing through GameFAQs while trying not to absorb how stupid that whole Elder Scrolls book thing was. On the Zelda Breath of the Wind board, there is a poll that says you have to pick one of these artists to do the soundtrack. Here are the options: Kanye West, Limp Bizkit, Vanilla Ice, Smash Mouth, Bjork, John Cena, The Wiggles, Psy, Creed, or Lil B the Based God. Which I don't know who the last one is, but all of the others, it's just like, dear God. And all the topic has 3 responses so far. All of them equate to I would rather die than pick one of those.
Yeah. Yep. That's my answer too.
And people have
can't
picked,
disagree.
They've got 2 people who've picked Psy, 2 people have picked Smash Mouth, 1 person's picked Vanilla Ice, 1 person's picked Limp Bizkit.
I mean, John Cena would be funny at first because of Xenoblade, Guar Plains.
It won't be that song. It will be John Cena himself singing it.
No, I just want it to be randomly as you're exploring Breath of the Wild. You hear it's John Cena.
Just remix one of those songs.
They replace Ganondorf with John Cena.
It just fades in the music as well. You don't even notice it, just so it comes in.
You're actually selling me on this idea.
Yeah, it's just I feel terrible when, by comparison, Smash Mouth and Creed aren't the worst ideas. It's like, dear God, this person's a monster.
Yeah. Yep. Man.
It'd be quite a sacrifice. Shall we go back to other things that don't wrench our souls out?
Yes.
Yeah, at the Microsoft press conference.
All right, let's do this then.
Okay, I'm just gonna cover the only news that matters out of the Microsoft press conference. Most of their games are now cross-platform between Windows 10 and Xbox One.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That's what I was kind of getting at earlier with the Titanfall 2 thing. It's like Microsoft's whole conference is, hey, we're not going to do exclusive things anymore because we're losing this console generation. Also, in a couple months, we're going to put out a slightly better version of our current console because maybe that'll convince some people. And here's an announcement for something that we're claiming is a year and a half off. In reality, we'll probably be further off than that. And while it sounds great, it's probably going to cost you like $700 minimum. So we just announced 2 consoles and the fact that we're not firmly supporting our own anymore anyway. Bye! It's like, yeah, good job, Microsoft. You won E3.
Yep. God. No,
I can't believe people honestly thought Microsoft won E3 with that console.
Yeah.
Nope.
That conference.
Here's what happened too. They actually showed Final Fantasy 15, and the boss fight was a guy getting his ass beat around a few times. He did some basic attacks, and then that was it. I'm like, wow.
I fucking swear that giant sounds like something from StarCraft. I'm not even kidding.
Yep,
When I heard it, I was like, "That's a Protoss unit. What the hell?"
pretty much. I'm like, oh man, the conference, it was bad. They showed Recore. Recore was really boring looking. Gears 4, really boring looking. Even like Scalebound, which I was kind of hyped about before from last year. I'm like, okay, that looks pretty. No.
Oh god, I remember you going on and on about Dragon Baby Waifu Man now.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Oh, why did I have to remember that?
Why did you bring it back up?
I don't know, it just came out.
You're doing it now. You're joining him.
No, oh, I absolutely am not.
So I'd like to introduce a fourth member of our podcast, Dragon Baby Waifu Man.
Shut up, no. I would take Minotaur jokes over that.
Oh, a surprise Minotaur, eh?
Yeah, so,
I would rather that to Dragon Baby Waifu Man. In
That's what's
all
gonna happen.
honesty.
You're gonna see Dragon Baby Waifu Man pull off his face like Tom Cruise style, and it's gonna be a Minotaur.
Well, it's gonna be on PC now, so you can pay someone to make that mod if you care about it enough.
Oh, that's gonna happen.
One day. One day it will.
I'm gonna make a virus that infects everyone who has Scalebound and forces the mod.
Oh, you're a monster.
So,
Want me to quickly go through everything?
do we have to?
Can we
Well,
just sum it up with it was boring and they're not even supporting themselves anymore?
Pretty much.
Galaxy showed your character, Forza Horizon came out, Division did nothing. More Battlefield, that was exactly the same from EA. Clubs for Xbox Live so they could finally have a community. Background music is a thing now, which always should have been everywhere else. Clubs, well, I've already mentioned that. What?
Yep.
Arena, the sort of tournaments, they're finally doing officially. Minecraft came out and did nothing. Better than PC still. Multiple colored pads, hooray, they're customizable, who cares? From the creators of Limbo, the EA conference, nothing happens. Oh yeah, Limbo's also free. More games were out, including Bloodstained was included in like a big very quick flash up of games, and I was just like, that's too good for this conference.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we happy for you. Looks interesting.
Although on a side note, I'm really pleased with all the Bloodstained stuff that keeps getting shown. Like, I am so glad I backed that project. Igarashi 100% knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Holy shit! Like I threw 100 crown at him, and I don't regret it. Not in a second.
I wish I could upgrade my pledge now because I couldn't afford the slightly higher tier one when the thing was going on, but I could now. I wish I could upgrade it. I should still be in the tier that I get the beta though, so that's good at least.
That's pretty good. Yeah, we happy few. I'm glad you mentioned that because I actually fell asleep during Microsoft conference and I forgot to add that to my notes.
I'm sensing a theme here.
I was making jokes about it because they said basically it came out with a quote saying "Happy people have no history." And I'm just like, what?
What?
Yeah, that was a quote that came out at the very beginning. I didn't catch the name.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. I think this is supposed to be I don't know what this is, but it's like everyone's forced to take drugs to keep them like in some weird delusion. Like just like this, everything is great and happy when you take this drug. At the very beginning, I had no context to it, so it's like the Hastings brothers on a newspaper. He's like, and he looks at drugs, and I'm like, oh crap, they cause people to take drugs. God damn.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. It's basically like everything you see in the world is like all happy, everyone's happy, cheerful, and then if you stop taking your medicine, like you see how fucked up everything is. Like it showed people beating a piñata, and the piñata turned out to be a dead rat, and they started eating its intestines because they're all on drugs, so they don't know.
Yeah.
And then once you, like if they find out that you stop taking your medicine, like they come and they grab you and they drug you, and it's crazy.
They will use a downer.
Yeah.
Have either of you guys ever seen Equilibrium?
I've heard of it.
It's a movie with is Christian Bale the guy who was Batman in American Psycho?
What?
Christian Bale, is that the name of the guy who played Batman and American Psycho?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a movie with him, and it's almost the opposite of this game. It's like all emotion is suppressed by the government. You have a drug you take daily that prevents you from feeling emotion. And if people go off the drug and start, acting out, they've got essentially hit squads that go after them and either make them take the drug again or just kill them. It's basically what you're describing kind of makes me think that someone watched this movie and was like, let's make a game about this, but the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much. It's
So.
As well as like that, I think that like when I was watching it, the first thing that kind of came to mind, like the character design was very Bioshocky. But
Yeah.
like that's kind of the only vibes I kind of got from it.
Yeah. Everyone has like a white face paint. They're always smiling.
Yeah.
That does sound pretty darn creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. It's kind of unless they're masks. I don't know. It's either face paint or masks.
Yeah. That's what we're dealing with.
I just refreshed the front page of Game Informer to see if any new info came up, and saw a thing with "Here are my top 7 sort of sad-looking bearded men of E3 2016."
Oh.
That's so good because that is honestly a really prominent trend now.
Pretty much.
I was not prepared to just randomly read that. That made me really happy.
So that's actually a good point to transition to Sony's press conference.
Not
Are
yet.
you gonna
Let's
start
talk
with
about a
Death
couple of
Stranding?
things.
Well,
Or Kratos? Which one were you going for? Because those are the kind of sad-looking bearded men I remember from Sony.
well, God of War 4 is the first thing they showed.
Right. That's why I said Kratos.
Yeah, Kratos, Crouton.
Yeah, I played the first 2 games. I liked both of them. I never played the third, and I really didn't hear positive things about it, because I heard that they pretty much threw all semblance of plot out and were like, just, use your rage boner to murder everyone. So, the
Do
fact
you want me to sum it up?
Yeah.
Basically, Kratos kills the gods. Kratos gets betrayed by the god he was following. The end.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah,
That's what
like
happened in the other games.
the thing that really surprised me about it is like, how are you alive? But then I remembered at the very end scene, they kind of like showed like just a blood stain where his body used to be. So it's like he got away somehow. But
Sure.
what about? I don't know.
But yeah, so like God of War 4 actually has renewed my interest because it looks like they're really trying to do something different with it, which I appreciate. And also Norse myth. Oh hell
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yep.
Norse mythology is best mythology.
The only thing I've really got to think against it is like, you called it God of War again. Is this going to be like the returning theme every time? Like every time you swap to a new mythology to kill, are you going to just change the name back to God of War? It's
Well, that's what the rumor mill is saying, that this God of War, you're teaching your son how to be a god because Kratos
you teaching him all right, son. Here's how to be a god.
Pretty much.
First, learn how to use bow and arrow of magic.
Yep.
Step 2, conquer.
Murder them all in a vicious rage. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's exactly how you become a god.
Then it becomes.
I mean, it worked for Kratos.
Yeah.
Get all your family killed. Like, make a family, get them killed by the gods you're trying to worship. and
No,
go
not
murder
just
them all.
that. Kill them yourself while
Yeah.
under murder mind control.
And then their ashes come attached to your body. You get some sick ass tattoos. Now you go and murder them all.
Yeah.
No, not just that. You work for them for a few years, and then you're like, you know what? Fuck those guys.
Pretty much.
And inevitably backstab you again.
I mean, that sounds
Well,
like...
the thing was, Ares saved him at his moment of, like, I'm gonna get killed. So
Yeah.
he worked for Ares for a few years, and then he murdered his wife and child. And it was murdering his wife and child that went him go, alright, no, I'm done with you, Ares.
Yeah. then in God of War 2, they turn around like the rest of the gods are like, he would make a pretty good God of War now that Ares is dead. And then he just like, I'm going to further the Spartan agenda, and everyone's like, no, no.
Yep.
And then they're like, right, I'm going to give him the sword, trick him into putting his power into it, and I'm going to stab him with it.
Yep.
I mean, it would have worked if he didn't literally crawl his way out of hell.
Like Hades is just like, I'm not going to appear. Fuck that guy. He's just going to fall down
Well,
here.
you
Oh,
killed
he's
Hades
clanked
in
out.
the first game.
You killed Hades in the third game.
You certainly fight Hades in the first game.
I don't think so. You crawl out of Hades. You don't fight Hades.
Oh no, Hades gives you the coolest power in the game in the first game. That's what it was.
It's been a while since I played the collection, so I don't remember fully.
All I remembered at first was there was a bit in near the end of the first God of War where Hades is really important. But I remember now he gives you an amazing superpower, is what it is. I thought you killed him, but no, it's. I recall now. He gives you something awesome. I'm gonna look up what it actually is.
On a side note, we forgot to mention something important out of the Microsoft conference.
Continue.
Gwent.
That's, I mean, more of a general announcement, though.
Yeah, but it came out in the Microsoft conference, and I was going to bring it up, but we moved on. There's not much else there anyway, but
I got depressed. That's also why I skipped Ubisoft and after Sony, because I was getting depressed. And
Likewise. I mean, what?
Yep. I'm like, oh, this is just sad.
Army of Hades. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
He gives you the spell Army of Hades that just lets you summon a whole bunch of dead dudes to wreck everything.
Yes.
As you do.
But yeah, like the Hades boss fight was in God of War 3, and it wasn't that hard, I suppose. I think you get a weapon from Hades after you kill him, like after you kill him, and then absorb his soul with his own weapon. Yeah, that happens. And they're pretty awesome. I think it was one of my favorite weapons in the game. They were pretty awesome.
Cool.
I'm trying to think. Yeah. I'm just looking through my notes to see if there's anything probably like anything interesting we missed out of the Microsoft one. Like, really all we missed was Tekken 7, Scalebound, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, don't care, Halo Wars 2, and Dead Rising 4.
Yep.
I talk more about Dead Rising 4, but I think we just want to move on to Sony at this point. So,
yeah, I mean,
one.
I would be happy if Dead Rising 4 was coming to like PS4, but since it's not, I find it hard to care.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems too, is that I don't think any of us have a Xbox One.
I have an Xbox. I don't have one personally, but my dad has one. I can play on it whenever I feel like it. So it's just one of those things. Like we've got Doom over here on it, and that's why I haven't finished Doom yet.
Yeah, Doom. Man, I need to pick up Doom 2 in the Steam sale. Like if it's even like $5 off, I'm like, you know what? I need Doom.
The interesting thing about Dead Rising 4 is that they've said it's not going to be a remake, but then it's like back to Willamette, Frank's younger, and it's like, what? Is it a retelling? Or are you just not calling it a remake?
It's a prequel. He actually caused the zombie apocalypse.
No, that's not how it happened.
Yeah, that is canonically not what happened. They give you the entire explanation for the zombie apocalypse in Dead Rising 1.
Yeah, Santa Cabeza, Carlito. They accidentally created the zombie plague using, they were trying to create meat.
Yeah, they were trying to find ways to, like, it was to clone cows, right?
Yeah, yeah.
To basically, like, mass produce cows with, with technology to clone them and all that, and then accidentally made zombies.
It's hilarious, but, you know.
Well, I mean, I think it had to do with, like, mad cow disease or something.
Yeah, like they just, one of the cows
and then it somehow hopped species and became carried by bees and then started making everyone zombies.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, that's just it, isn't it? Like, technically the zombies in Dead Rising are actually, like, the bee larvae in people's blood.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how it controls them.
Yeah, that's why whenever you smash a queen bee, all the like luminescent worms come out, and and they all attack you.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't know how to feel about it though. It's just like the game is. It looks good. Don't get me wrong. I like Dead Rising 3. Like unlike certain people, I actually when I played it on the Xbox One, I did the Nightmare Mode challenge, which was I had like 3 days of the week left, and I pretty much blasted out Nightmare Mode, which is the harder mode of the game, in like 3 days.
Hey, Dead Rising 4 is set to exclusively release for Xbox One and Windows 10 in December, but it's only a timed exclusive that will eventually make its way to PS4 and Steam.
Oh, interesting.
That's pretty good then.
So that makes me care significantly more.
Yeah. Oh, and there's another thing is like I guess maybe going backwards might be a good idea, like going back to Dead Rising 1, because Dead Rising 3 did something I didn't quite like with the story.
Yeah, I heard most people didn't like Dead Rising 3's story because it went from being goofy, ridiculous fun to trying to take itself seriously and be gritty.
Oh yeah, that's that.
Which is part of why they released that DLC that just parodied everything that they do as a company.
Yeah, that was awesome.
What was it? I need to look that up now
was
just to get the title of it.
Ultra Arcade Mode Super Edition, I think. But yeah, it was just like massive arcadey mode, and what they kind of like, I kind of liked what some of the things they did, like make it out, oh, the girl's Chuck Green's daughter from the second game. So it's like, oh yeah, awesome, right? But then the very end of the game, it's just like, oh yeah, this character's a bad guy now because we made her a bad guy. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, for God's sake.
Yep.
Super Ultra Arcade Remix.
Yeah, it was awesome. I never actually played it, but it was just like that's hilarious.
Oh, I remember I saw the trailer for it and it had me dying because
Yeah.
they just basically Capcom just ruthlessly mocked themselves, and I really appreciated that.
That's brilliant, yeah. Yeah, so in my opinion, Dead Rising is one of the few good things that Capcom still does properly. I don't even know it's Capcom making them, actually. It's questionable.
I don't even know what
really?
Capcom still does.
I mean, I don't know if Capcom's actually done anything in-house in ages. Like, I heard that they were just, like, outsourcing things.
Dead Rising 4 is being developed by Capcom.
Alright, that's good. I think they may have done all of them, but I can't be sure. I just know that their fighting games and stuff like that are outsourced.
I mean, I know that the first 3 were all Capcom, so...
Yeah.
But wait, really? They've been outsourcing, like, Street Fighter?
I think so, yeah. I know they were doing, like, Marvel's Capcom 3 was outsourced as well.
Really? I didn't know that.
I would say that or there's somebody working under Capcom. But what I know wasn't in-house.
Interesting. I mean, I'm still just, in all honesty, going to have a grudge against Capcom until either A, they start treating the Mega Man IP with the respect it deserves once again, or B, give it to someone who will do so, like Nintendo.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mega Man, have you guys heard about Mighty Number 9?
What about it?
It has been getting not good reviews.
Oh god. They did something really stupid in their ad campaign. I saw that.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, people are playing it now. Like, it's been, they got review copies, and...
Oh, right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people have been not very happy with it. Like...
That isn't good to hear, as someone who backed the Kickstarter.
Yep,
Yeah.
I saw this thread on, people that backed it, they're like, oh, I feel like an asshole for backing this now.
There was one specific line that I remember very... It's very
Is
stupid
it
line
the
from
crying like an anime fan on prom night?
That's it, yeah. That was just like,
Yeah.
oh my god, what are you people thinking?
That's, yep, that seems about, congruous.
I mean, I gave him $20, so it could be worse.
You might like it. I
hope to.
In my opinion, like what I saw of it, like I think I watched Jim Sterling play a little bit of it, and it was like they look bad. It's just
I mean, I played the beta when that got released to backers, and I enjoyed what I played of it.
yeah.
From what I understand, what was in the beta and the early stuff that we saw isn't what's actually the game now.
Oh.
I don't know how true that is, if people are just being dramatic, as people tend to be. But that was some of the things that people were saying in the NeoGAF thread. It's like, yeah, this isn't anything like what we actually got, the finished product. I'm like, oh, okay, wow.
Huh. I just checked on GameFAQs, and like the board isn't terribly active, but one person's saying they just finished a debug build that went all the way through the final boss and thought it was pretty good. Not like amazing, but entertaining.
Well, that's good at least.
That's good, yeah.
I mean, as long as I can play it and have a good time, that's all I really care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's, I've been concerned, like, the general reception towards this game, like, since it's been getting delayed and things like that, I've been like, okay. So, well, I don't even know I'm concerned, because I'm not even, like, back or anything like that. I have many friends who are Mega Man fans, who,
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
many people who would be greatly hurt if this does not turn out to be what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's gonna be good. I'm hoping.
Yeah. It would be a shame.
So, happy news. Let me turn my phone back on. It just goes.
Blech.
Days Gone. I don't know if we're going to talk about that.
I did. Alright, the thing about Days Gone is that they showed the gameplay for the game at the very end of the conference, and everyone was like, is that really the way you wanted to end it after the last thing that happened? Like, come on now.
Yep. It's a zombie shooter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of zombies.
It's bikers with zombies,
Yep.
basically.
Yeah, it's the most boring, the most boring main characters you could see. Like, look, it's some redneck biker.
I mean, at least have Golem zombies.
Yeah.
I could make fun of that at least. But yeah, it's just a third-person shooter basically. In a zombie apocalypse, you're playing as a biker. You're running off to save one of your people who tackles you off the top of a roof, breaks his leg, and then gets himself killed while screaming, "Go!" Just like, what? Why did you tackle us off the roof if you just want us to live? What's wrong with you?
Yep. I don't know, I'm just kind of burnt out on zombies in general. It's like, oh, another one of those. Okay.
Another one. Another one.
Hey, State of Decay 2, Dead Rising 4, Days Gone, new DayZ game.
I will say, like,
Yeah,
Dead
the
Rising
zombie trend isn't ending anytime soon. We get it.
Yeah, it won't end until everyone gets bored, and when will that be? I mean, look at The Walking Dead. This TV series is still going, so the comics are still going. But I've lost track of where I was. So,
They showed Horizon Zero Dawn. Now this actually got me really fucking hyped.
Yeah, that one has looked pretty awesome since they announced it last year.
Yeah, holy shit, yeah.
Yep. God, like there's one thing I wrote in my notes is whenever this guy, like the chick is like, well, I don't believe in demons, but I'm gonna go save the village anyways, and this guy just fucking takes off running like, you're crazy, after he's a safe distance away. I'm like, fuck that guy. I felt like if I was playing the game, I would have chased him down and beat his ass. Like, no, fuck you.
Just turn around and shoot with your bow, like, yeah. Fuck off.
I'll fucking shoot you, crazy asshole. I'm gonna go save your family.
Okay, so I want your guys' opinion, because maybe this is just me, but both of them were announced at E3 last year, and just from the bits we've seen so far, I kind of feel like Horizon Zero Dawn and Scalebound are going for pretty similar things. Like, is that just me?
I could see, yeah, because they're both kind of like almost RPGs.
Yeah, they're like both kind of open world-ish RPGs, third person, where you're playing as a moderately normal human being in a natural sort of environment, fighting things that are way bigger and scarier than you, a la dragons or dinosaur mech monster things.
on the side of Scalebound, you've got a guy who's running around with a dragon shooting giant scorpions. On the side of Horizon Zero Dawn, you're just a woman running around with a bow and arrow shooting robot dinosaurs.
And
Right.
also
So-
using
But
your
I feel like there are a lot of core similarities, though. Is all I was getting at.
Yeah, systemically, I could see. But, like, that's one of the cool things, though, in, like, Horizon Zero Dawn, her fucking, like, spear staff thing, she used to reprogram a deer so that she could ride it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Okay, sold!
Yeah, she was also like they also made like an explosive trap in it and then threw it down. It's a little balloon thing, and then the thing that they called a corruptor, which was corrupting the nearby wildlife and turning it into robot life and turning them against everybody, ran into it and exploded. So I was like, I don't know how that works, but that was cool.
Yep. No, it's really cool. Like, everything I've seen about this game, I'm like, okay, like, where do I sign up? Like, day one. Then like 2017. God damn it. But I was super hyped. Like in the conference, like everything's been kind of eh. Then they showed Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm like, all right, I'm back on board. Let's do this.
Yep.
Mounted combat. That was something that I thought was interesting. Mostly me making fun of the game because it was really funny.
Yeah.
As I do. Detroit Become Human.
That's interesting, but
I'm interested in the story. Like, I just want to fuck people up. Like that guy who's holding that kid hostage.
yeah.
I just want to shoot him so he takes the kid with him. And I'm like,
Just
problem
murder
solved.
everyone. You're like, I'm just an android. What can I say? Pew.
Exactly. I'm like, logically, this is the most efficient solution.
Just running around killing everyone because story.
Exactly. Well, I mean, humans are the problem. So logically, if I get rid of all the humans, there won't be any more kidnapping problems. There's no one to kidnap.
Right.
Well,
That's AI logic, and that's why machines are going to eventually destroy us all.
sure.
Because humans are inefficient, and once they get rid of humans, their efficiency will increase by like 1,000%. It's like, oh, it's simple.
Well, in terms of the actual thing they showed, there was like they showed like a set bit where it was just like the android can look around, do detective stuff, but it's like the other android's trying to kill a girl. It succeeds in killing a girl. It's like the guy's like, oh, but they took it back in time for a second and it went, well, actually, if you did this, the outcome could be like this, and they showed like 7 different outcomes for the same scenario.
Yep.
But it's like, how much of that can you do in one game, though?
Interesting.
That was the entire game, actually. They just showed us all of it.
Yep.
Now you get Batman vision. I haven't played the Batman games, but I know what the detective vision looks like.
Well, hopefully it doesn't end up with revealing everyone's skeletons, because that's all you ended up doing, Batman, just looking at people's skeletons. Because there's no reason at all to step out of that vision.
You're gonna go full Terminator mode. You're just gonna be like, oh, humans. Just start murdering people. That's what I'm gonna do in Deus Ex, the new one.
I'm really looking forward to that because Human Revolution was great, but at the same time, I'm probably gonna wait quite a while to pick up the new one just because there are so many other games
Yep.
that I'm more interested in, quite frankly.
There's too many games coming out. Like, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna replay Zelda. Fuck everything.
Hey, never a bad choice.
Yep. Well,
Oh.
I don't want to hop into JRPGs before I get into, like, the 4 JRPGs that are coming.
Hmm.
So,
Oh yeah, there was that. Sorry to just derail that now, but there was that Resident Evil teaser demo thing.
yeah, it looks like PT.
It's like I put here, PT is calling it his pale brother.
Much. Yeah,
But-
like, what is it? Capcom?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they're making a Silent Hill game now.
I've actually played that all the way. Well, not all the way through. Here's the thing: the game is a bit more PT like than you think. At first, you kind of go through. You're like, well, I do this, I do that. I put the VCR in. I go back in time. I walk through the house again, like finding out why I'm here and what happened to the other people who were with me. And then you go back to real time. You're like, oh, there's a key. And then you walk to the back door, and then the family man gets you. And the person I call the family man is there's like 4 different endings you can get like immediately. Where it's like 3 of them involve a phone, and 1 of them involves like actually walking out the back door. Walk out the back door, you get tapped on the shoulder, your guy turns around, and he's like, welcome to the family, son, and punches you in the face, and that's it. But
That's creepy as hell.
There's actually 3 other ones as well, where you pick up the phone, you talk to a woman on the other end. She has, depending on what you do during the demo, she has 3 different things which you can say, which are all kind of cryptic. But the funny part is, if you like leave enough space behind you for the family man to spawn, he will tap you on the shoulder, say the same thing, punch you in the face, and then that's what ends That's what ends it. There are a couple of cryptic things, however. There is a doll's finger, nobody can figure out what it does, and there is an axe, nobody can figure out what it does. There is like that. You can actually swing the axe. You can hit anything in the house with the axe, but only very set things are breakable, and it doesn't seem to do anything else. The doll's finger looks like it has a key in it if you inspect it, but we don't know what to do with the key, and it doesn't let us do anything with the locked doors in the house. So it's made out. It deliberately says it's made out of something that's flammable. I can't remember what the word it uses for it was, but it's flammable. And it's like, well, that's great. There's no fires. What am I going to? You can't turn the stove on. You can't do this, that, or the other, and it's just like everyone is scrambling to figure out.
You need to whack the axe against something to generate a spark, and then the spark will cause a fire, which you use to burn the doll finger to get the key.
That would be ingenious, except people have been deliberately hitting everything in the house. There is actually like there are a lot of streamers and people who are like OCD playing the game for like hours trying to figure this stuff out. For days now, actually. Like nobody. It's like there's a hatch that leads to a base, but they think that the answer lies down there. But you only go down there during the flashback on the VCR when you're watching the video. But when you go down there, you can't do anything because as soon as you walk forward enough, the guy finds out his friend's dead, and then it collapses on you, and then blood runs down his face, and then that ends the video.
Okay, you're making me really want to play this. Is it only PC or is it PS4?
It's PS4. It's PS4. It's on. Like you have to go looking for it, but it's on there.
Is it just called Resident Evil 7 demo?
Yeah, it's on the PlayStation Store. Oh, it's Plus exclusive, I think.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. All right. Well, I'm loading this up to download it right now so that I can try it out later.
Is it on Steam? Well, I guess I could find out myself.
I can do it now, actually. I'll finish on. Like normally, I'm a coward when it comes to this sort of stuff because I don't like. I think psychological horror just gets to me too much, and I'm just sitting in a corner crying like. But honestly, the only thing that even scared me in this demo was a mannequin falling in front of me. My brother as well, just because of the timing of it. And it's just like and then I'm like, oh, hi, and then walk past it. That was my reaction.
That's pretty great.
Resident Evil Biohazard download demo. All right.
Yep. I don't think the demo is available on PC.
I read something about it was only available on one, but would be available on the other, but I couldn't remember what the order on that was. So I'm glad you guys knew. By the way, do we have a release date for Horizon Zero Dawn?
2017. That's about it.
Okay. It's kind of what I figured.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention The Last Guardian's coming out on October 25th.
Oh yeah.
The crickets.
Sure it is.
January 24th, 2017.
All right.
Resident Evil.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh, Resident Evil.
So it's going to be real early in 2017.
For some reason, my brain went back to Horizon. I was like, oh no, there's nothing to that, and it's like, wait, no, Resident Evil.
Yep. God, yes, I let my PS Plus lapse because I just haven't been playing it. So, like, I have Overwatch on PC now too. It's like, yeah.
Tis quite fun.
Yep. I'm just looking at it. I'm like, God, it'd be so great to play this demo on PC, so I don't have to get PS Plus. This free demo is gonna cost me like $10 to resub to PS Plus. Let's see. PSVR. We know it's coming out October 13th. $400 American. So.
I would love to get on the VR train if it didn't cost literally all of the money.
Let me tell you about Summer Lesson.
About what?
Summer Lesson.
What?
It's this game where you're teaching a girl Japanese or English in the Japanese version.
Oh, I see where this is going. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they do too.
You're sitting in her bedroom. It's a dating sim.
Yeah, oh, you don't say.
There's a DOA Extreme, volleyball. That's in VR.
Oh, God.
I knew where this was going. I already knew. I knew all of this. Yeah.
There's just so many good games coming out in VR. I think it's worth the $400 price tag.
I can hear the zipping from here.
Oh, you had to say it. You just had to say it, didn't
Somebody
you?
had to do it.
Not really.
Well, if I didn't do it, he was going in.
Really.
So, just let me. I'm not sure if it was Sinner and Kagura, but it's another one of those type of games.
Also, I should note I'm gonna have to go in about half an hour.
Okay, well,
and I don't think I put an episode up for today. I should do that real quick.
Real quickly then, I guess we'll talk about the Kojima thing and then the Zelda thing, and that's more or less it. There's some other things that we can talk about, but because we're strapped for time, we'll talk about things that you would.
I mean, you guys can continue after I'm gone. I have no problem with that.
Well, that's why I want to talk about the things you'll be interested in, like you'll actually want to discuss.
I'll say one thing very, very quickly, just to because it went away. It disappeared as soon as it came out. Basically, Crash Bandicoot has got remastered. The first.
Wait. Can you say that again?
Crash Bandicoot. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's not what you said the first time.
Sure it was.
No, it really wasn't.
Yeah, sure it was. But then they immediately ruined the Crash Bandicoot with oh, by the way, guys, Skylanders is a thing. I'm just like, no.
Yep. Crash 1, 2, and 3 all getting HD remake, and then Skylanders.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. Since we don't have many details about them yet, a lot of people are wondering what exactly they mean, because they said HD remake, not remaster. So it could be something along the lines of Final Fantasy VII remake, where they're not just going to put a new coat of paint on them and re-release them, but they might actually be rebuilding the games for new gen, which that would be amazing.
I'm expecting the least amount of work possible on Activision's part. Because...
Well, I can't remember where I saw it. I'm fairly sure I saw some kind of image that was of a HD5 Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I thought that was associated with Skylanders. I've seen that picture, but I thought it was the Skylanders one.
And that's why I said it's going to be the least amount of work. Oh look, we modeled Crash for Skylanders. Let's just put
him in. Oh yeah. Make him spin and jump. Oh yeah, we've done it, guys. We fucking did it.
Ooh.
It's literally the Naughty Dog original Crash Bandicoot background with Skylanders Crash Bandicoot running forward.
Yep. So there was one thing. Oh yeah, the Kojima thing. Man.
They summoned him from the depths of Konami.
So, God, whenever I saw all the dead whales on the beach, I immediately thought of Junji Ito. And I'm just like, yep, but he's not listed as on the artistic credits for Death Stranding. So I don't know if they're still going to use him. I hope so. But yeah, he's making Silent Hills.
No, he's making Death Stranding.
Yeah.
With Norman Reedus.
Game Informer had an interview with Kojima about his new thing, or his new company, and Death Stranding. It was a really interesting read. I can give to you guys if you want. I can summarize what I remember of it real quick if you're interested.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So essentially, they haven't finalized anything yet. So they're not positive what engine they're using. Like that teaser image was basically just a teaser image. Like they have yet to work on building the game. They have most of the groundwork laid for it. They're still trying to get their final hiring done and solidify what software they're going to use to make the game. The reason it's called Death Stranding is because the way he was talking about an old like sort of philosophical writing by either a Japanese or Chinese philosopher about how like there are essentially two kinds of things that we as people use in this world. There are sticks, which we use to keep people at bay, and strands or ropes that tie us together. And so like so much of what you see today in games are, metaphorical sticks. Like you shoot people with guns to keep them away, or you hack them with swords, etc. and stuff like that. And that's what he's done with a lot of his own games. So he wanted something that would kind of subvert that. So he's wanting to build a game that has to do with like the ties that bind people and just everything together, which is where the title comes from. Because stranding is supposed to have to do with like how things are tied or stranded together, like with metaphorical rope. He's not working with Del Toro on this, but he has talked about it with Del Toro, and Del Toro liked the idea of it, and that's how they got back in touch with Norman Reedus like together. And he is still planning to do something with Del Toro, but it's probably going to be a TV show or a movie rather than a game. That's most of what I remember.
That's crazy.
Interesting.
Like I said, if you give me a little bit, I'll find the thing and send it to you guys, at least so you can both read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to mention that the Naked Norman Reedus has come up with some very funny memes.
Oh no.
Oh yes, it's happening. I don't remember any of them off the top of my head though.
God. So.
All right, here's the link, so you guys can read that later if you want.
Okay.
All right, nice.
So before you're gone, let's talk about that new Zelda game.
Oh,
Yep.
it's beautiful.
Yep.
It's so good.
I have to find the box art that had like what mashup of all the games it is. It was really funny. I'm not gonna be able to find it, I bet. But it was like Legend of Skyrim, Shadows of Metal Souls, like.
Oh, I saw someone who made a title like that.
Yeah, like they put it onto a box art, and then it had that little sticker that said featuring Dante from Devil May Cry.
Oh, God damn it. Do you know why that always keeps coming up? That's great, though.
Yep. But no, that's basically God. Okay, so without going into too much detail, because I've been watching like every gameplay stream that they have put out for this game, I know so much about the first area, so I won't go into too much detail. But man, this easily went from like barely on my radar, like it's a Zelda game, so I was gonna buy it as you do, and it's like, oh shit, yep, this is my game of the show. This is like my most anticipated game for 2017. Like, it ate Horizon's lunch for me. I was like, yeah, Horizon, this is my most anticipated game, and now it's Zelda. Just, oh man, crafting, exploration, fully open world. You can climb basically anything. The Sheikah tablet that you use, oh god, so good. I'm trying not to spoil things, but I just want to gush about this before we lose Kupo, which is.
I can't blame you because I 100% agree. I was so blown away by that trailer. That was one of the most impressive trailers that I've seen in a long time. And then I watched some of their streams and such, and it's just, oh, it's so good.
Yep. Like I saw someone.
So good.
He cut down a tree, then he cut down the tree into bits and got firewood. And I'm like, yep. Like, a guy had a wooden shield. He was blocking arrows. Then he took the arrows for himself to use in his bow. Like, fire physics. Oh, the fire physics are so good. The paragliding is so good.
See, the thing that really has me going a little gaga about this is I'm pretty sure everything we saw of it at E3 was the Wii U version.
Yeah, that's what they said.
So, working on the pretty obvious assumption that the NX is going to be at least a moderate step up in power from the Wii U, oof,
Yep.
that's quite a prospect.
I think, like, if this game is as good as I know it's going to be, I will probably double dip. Like, I'll get an NX and get it again on the NX. Like, I'm getting it for the Wii U.
Yeah, I'm expecting to just get an N. I'm expecting to get an NX at launch more than likely because I'm a Nintendo fanboy and I can accept that. And I will probably just get it on NX.
All they have to promise me is more Zelda and more Xenoblade, and I will buy every console they put out.
The biggest thing that Nintendo could promise to get me 100% on board with anything would be New Metroid. That is nothing like other M or Federation Force.
Oh, God. Other M.
Yeah, I try to forget that it exists most of the time.
Yep, I did forget Federation Force existed until you
My
just...
baby!
So, God, Zelda. Lore stuff, there's so many things I saw that I'm like, wait a minute. But, yeah, I'm just, oh, man. So, the Temple of Time, he goes in there, and he prays to the goddess statue. And it actually, like, it gives you a prompt to pray to the goddess statue, and it said that you have been blessed by the goddess.
See, one of the things that that I find most interesting about it is that it has been stated directly by the developer, like the head guy, whose name I forget right now. Is it Itoy, maybe?
I think so.
I think it's Itoy. That you can, upon beginning the game, go directly to the final boss and fight him if you wish.
Yep.
It's like they made a Zelda game that is so open you can go directly to the end. That is 100% unprecedented for them.
Yep. God, I can't imagine how you would even do that either. Like, you'd have
People
to...
are going to do it. The speedrun's going to be like 5 minutes because someone's going to figure out how to pick up one item, go to the final boss, and cheese him to death.
Pretty much.
That's how it works.
Like, I could see it being like a Dark Souls Soul Level 1 run. It's like, yep, 3-heart run, straight to the final boss. God. And, like, okay, so there was one thing that did bum me out, and it's not the weapon breaking system, actually. It's the magnetism he was playing with. Like, there's big platforms that you could stand on, you walk on to sort of build bridges for yourself, and I'm like, can you magnetize something that you're standing on and just float through the world? And no, you cannot. Like, no! Unless Iron Boots come back, and then it is something you can do.
I would be surprised if they gave you quite that much freedom.
It's like, just start flying. Like, yes!
I would say if they were going to let you do something like that, I don't think that the hang gliding would be in. That's what I'll say.
That's true. But also, I just want it so bad. Like, I could just imagine, like, people's reactions, like, what the fuck? You just see this little green elf boy flying around on a giant piece of metal. But, there's also something, there's a mysterious thing in the sky, we don't know what it is yet. It looks almost like an island. It was in the stream.
My main guess is also, was that a Hemingway reference just now?
No.
Okay, you said Islands in the Stream, and that's my favorite Hemingway book, so I was like, wait, did he really just... That's cool.
I'm not that sophisticated.
I mean, my guess is that it's the Sky Island. whether that be the Sky Island from Skyward Sword or the Sky Island from Twilight Princess, that's what it makes the most sense to be, in my mind.
Yep.
Especially since it looks very likely, even just from the information given in the trailer, that this is pretty definitively post Twilight Princess. So that would further cement it being likely that that's the uh, Sky Temple. That's what they call it from Twilight Princess.
Yeah, I need to read the Hyrule Historia because I need to see if does Skyward Sword take place after Twilight Princess?
Skyward Sword is the first Zelda game, period.
Oh, okay.
It is where everything begins.
I
So
never had a
every
Wii, so.
future Link and every future Zelda are actually the reincarnated spirit of the Link and Zelda from Skyward Sword. And every incarnation of Ganondorf is a reincarnation of the hatred of the Demon King Demise, who Link defeats at the end of Skyward Sword. And then Demise curses him to be locked in a never-ending cycle of rebirth where he will be forever hounded by a reincarnation of Demise's own hatred.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's actually pretty dark.
Yeah.
I love the lore for Skyward Sword, but I couldn't stand the game itself. I played like 6 hours and got through 2 dungeons, and it still felt like I was doing tutorials. And
wow.
that just frustrated me too much. I couldn't keep going.
I need to do an HD remake of Skyward Sword so I could actually play it with the controller.
Well, I don't think that would work, though, because the whole Wii Motion Plus gimmick was so integral to how the game functioned.
It hurts me so deep
That-
when you say that.
I mean, I don't see how they could do it any other way.
Find a way, Nintendo. You can do it. God damn it.
Because, I mean, the whole thing is every, enemy you fight has angles you can attack them from and ways you can swing your sword to get around their block and all that, and you can't really just do that with a controller unless you map each specific kind of it. You'd have to do it almost like Metal Gear Rising, where you could do a pause time and then choose the angle of your cut. Would really be the only way I could see them adapting that to be for a traditional controller.
That'd be amazing. God. Man, okay, so, yeah. When you said that, I started thinking of other things that I saw. Oh, this game is going to be so good.
Yeah, that's about the furthest I would personally like to discuss it.
Yeah.
Because while I'm stoked, I also really don't want to spoil too much for myself. And I'm sure that a lot of people who are listening, we might have even said more than some of them would have preferred.
Oh, yeah. There's been 2 gameplay trailers, one with story stuff, one without, and I purposely avoided talking about anything even remotely story-related. Not even, there's even, mechanics-related things that I'm not even talking about, like the cold and hot system, because that's so cool, too, though. God damn it. It's so cool.
It is. That I agree 100%.
Yeah, but just, if you haven't seen it, go watch the trailer, go watch gameplay. This is probably going to be Game of the Year 2017 for me. Everything I've seen has just hyped me. There's no way this game can live up to my standards that I'm setting for it.
Well, that's good, I guess.
This game is a Skyrim killer. It's the Elder Scrolls killer. That's, where my standards are right now. It's just... So... How much time do you have left?
Like 15 minutes.
Okay. I guess we could finish up then because there wasn't that much more to talk about. There was...
The entire PC Gamer one, which I recorded, but I don't know if anyone really cares. So.
Yeah, I'm looking through the PC gaming one. It's the only game that I did not write looks boring was Tyranny. Yeah.
Sorry, that's just really funny to me.
Wait, what?
He said the only game that he did not write sounds boring next to from the PC conference.
Yeah,
All right.
that was Tyranny, but that's an Obsidian and Paradox game. So
I mean, they should have done more free stuff, but I think I'm the only one who really cares about that. So
yeah, we didn't talk about Ubisoft because all they showed was Watch Dogs 2. And I don't know if anyone actually cares about Watch Dogs 2 outside of me.
I certainly do not.
Yep. Let's see. Nier Automata. We got a new trailer for it.
oh yes.
I still want to play the first one. I never
I was
had
actually
the chance.
thinking that somewhere in this house somewhere we have a capture card. I was thinking about actually LPing it, but I don't know how I'll do that. Because even with the capture card, I'll be stretching everything across the room, basically. It would either be that the Xbox have be literally in the middle of the floor, sitting on my chair, whilst the capture card's connected between that and the thing, and then it's all the wires going into the back of the TV, which is at the other end of the room. It's like, it's a small room, but everything would be stretching, and that would be hard for anyone to even get in. I've trapped myself. But yeah, Nier Automata is looking amazing thus far, and I regard the original Nier really highly, despite the fact that the gameplay, the gameplay is somewhat mechanically flawed in some places. Well, not. I don't know the right way to say it. It's just not amazing. It has problems mechanically. However, the music, in my opinion, is masterpiece levels, and the story is wonderful. It'll be depressing, but wonderful nonetheless. And honestly, I have extremely high expectations of Automata. And the music and the boss fight, the gameplay looks amazing, and honestly, it's looking how I would imagine it. So, yeah. What?
Is that too loud?
Yes. Yes, it is.
I just realized I'm not gonna have time to play any more Odin Sphere before I have to leave after I'm done talking with you guys. So I was just doing a couple of battle stages. I always forget just how much sound my headset cancels out, though, and how much noise my microphone picks up. Sorry about that. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's much better now.
Okay. Can you still hear it at all?
No.
No.
Okay, good. Sorry about that.
It's alright.
But yeah, that looks fantastic. This E3 was just kind of poopy.
I wouldn't agree. I thought overall it was pretty good.
Outside of like a few key
we
things.
saw quite a few things to be excited about, and some good quality stuff. I mean, you know, between basically everything that Sony did, a decent amount of Bethesda's, and most all of Nintendo's, I think we got more good than bad in many ways.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, like, that was pretty much it. It was Bethesda, Sony, and Nintendo.
I wouldn't say that makes it a bad E3, though.
I personally don't think it's bloody free, but I was a bit upset at the end that there wasn't so much that I felt actually excited for.
It wasn't bad. It was kind of. I don't think, like, after 2015, it was bound to be less exciting.
Well, yeah, because E3 last year was insane.
Yeah. If we're setting the bar to E3 last year, that's a hard bar to top.
It just needs to constantly escalate. But it feels like everyone's saving their announcements for other shows now. Like, we didn't get anything on the Neo. We didn't get anything. Like, they talked about PSVR, but they just showed some games for it. I'm like, that's great, but I want to know more details about it. Like, Nintendo, like, straight up said, hey, we're only showing Zelda, which is fantastic, because now I'm, like, totally sold on Zelda, and I want to see more of it.
Well, I mean, they only had Zelda on the show floor. They still showed stuff about others.
Yeah,
like
that
Paper
Pokemon.
Mario Color Splash, new Pokemon. Like, they showed quite a bit of stuff, actually, and I thought it all looked pretty good.
I didn't see anything from Nintendo except for Zelda. I didn't know they had anything else at the E3.
Yeah, they
Oh,
did.
wow. I need to go look that up then.
I mean, the sheer amount of things that people show on the floor rather than getting staged, though. Like, I mean, Nia, I actually had to go look up because they didn't show it at all in any of the conferences.
Yeah.
It was just behind closed doors. It was like, what? Why?
Yep. Oh man. But I don't know. I just expected, like, I thought it was gonna be more of like Nintendo, or not Nintendo, but Microsoft's gonna bring their A game. I thought Ubisoft is gonna have some crazy stuff to show. Like, where was Deus Ex? Did they show a trailer for that?
They had gameplay at the end of the PC Gamer show, and I believe somewhere in Square Enix's thing.
Did
I
Square-
didn't watch Square's one though.
I didn't know they had a conference. God, that's.
Well, I mean, the Twitch stream literally labeled it as like Square Enix
Oh, okay.
Human. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah.
Tale of Deus Ex, but yeah, Deus Ex. It was Deus Ex edition. So I was like, eh.
Yeah, I
I
wasn't
love
watching.
Deus Ex, but come on.
I didn't watch the actual live streams from E3. I was just watching the conferences specifically.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense then. But I guess that's why I kind of feel like it, because it feels like, well, we're not going to show this here. Like, we're saving our big announcements for Gamescom, because that's actually a bigger show than E3 currently, which just kind of blows my mind.
It sounds kind of weird because considering that this is basically considered video game Christmas by certain people, it's just like, well, how can anything get bigger than this?
Yeah, Gamescom can, apparently.
Apparently.
Yep. Which
Well, I
makes
mean,
sense.
I also heard something earlier in the year that I think I mentioned on one of these, that apparently there's been some talk that Nintendo might be reviving their own trade show thing they did years ago, which would be kind of interesting.
I would go to it if it was within reason.
It'd probably be in Japan, let's be honest.
Yeah, admittedly.
That's within reason.
I'll walk across the ocean.
Yep. I'll do it. I'm
You
gonna
have
get
fun
some
with that.
iron boots and a magnetic pulse field, and just gonna jump on this metal platform and fly over there.
Yeah, you have fun with that, bud.
It worked for Link, damn it. It'll work for me.
It doesn't work for Link. We just talked about this.
No, I'll make it work. Just shut up. Ugh.
I'll one day just become a skeleton, then I'll just run across the ocean. Eh?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works. Ugh. I'm gonna unlock the fast travel point.
Why don't you just like adopt fucking teleporting powers?
Oh my god, computer,
easy,
what is
right?
going on?
I don't know.
This is like 6 times in the last 2 minutes it has told me the display driver has stopped responding and then recovered.
Are you using Windows 10?
Yes.
Yep.
But it's a Windows 8 driver. I've had this issue for a while, and I'm thinking about going in to get some help from like the free tech people on campus.
I've had it happen ever since I switched to Windows 10. It's just constant.
So I'm not going to give the context for this, but you're a monster.
I saw that and I had to send it to someone.
You are an absolute monster.
Yes, I am.
Although on that topic, oh god, what was it? There was something really freaking funny that I saw. Let's see. It was one of those like summarize a show. It was like give like a really short but not like misrepresentative summary of a show, and it was about Full Metal Alchemist, and it was I forget it was something like I don't want to say it because I won't do it justice. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it real quick. Probably.
Maybe.
One day he'll find it, and then he'll send it to us.
Just continue talking. I'm gonna try to find this.
Okay.
Blah 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 blah.
So.
Okay, here it is. It's a summary of FMA that is crippled midget tries to get his brother's body back with a rock made of genocide.
Yes. Oh, hey, Jim,
I
have you
feel
watched
like the
FMA?
difficulty I had in finding the quote again built it up too much. 'Cause-
Yeah, Jim, have you watched FMA?
Yeah, actually, all the way through.
I can send you this then.
no, don't do it.
My friend on Facebook shares a bunch of those.
Wow.
Yep. Like, it'll be like, okay, so I'll type it into the Skype box.
Okay.
Oh no. No, am I even gonna want to see this? Also, if we're just gonna be trading links back and
Oh,
forth,
come
maybe we should
on.
wrap this up first.
Really?
Yep, the pictures
Really?
like that.
Oh, oh, that's terrible.
A lot of pictures like that. I'm just gonna go to his Facebook and just start linking them to you guys.
I mean, if they're links to Facebook, I won't follow them. You know
I'll
that.
download the pictures and I will send them to you.
That works.
Why don't you just copy? Why don't you just go into the actual pictures link and then send it from that?
'Cause weird Facebook fuckery. They upload it themselves. Or they post
Anyway,
it.
I think we're getting sufficiently off topic. We should wrap this up now.
Yep,
Yeah.
that sounds like a plan. So that'll do it for our E3 podcast. It wasn't 2015, so it's not.
But
E3
it was still a good E3 though.
Yeah, we got to see the new Zelda, which, like, oh man.
I mean the live orchestra like did a ritual at the very beginning to summon Kojima into stage.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're gonna witness that. I mean, people getting played in the Sony conference, so it's pretty cool.
Regardless, thank you everyone for joining us. Let's see, what are our normal plugs that we do?
Hold on a sec. Let me.
Somebody, his website.
Yep. So, one of our friends has a website, 336gamereviews.com. He does game reviews, and he also started doing some news stuff recently. So check him out. He's a friend of ours. He'll
All right.
appreciate the traffic.
Our email is thejagcast@gmail.com. Follow Jim's blog at rantygameview.blogspot.com. You can find me at Twitter on @LordShadowDuck. You can find Jim at Twitter at xblur. That's XBLYR. And our YouTube channel is just JAGKAST. Go and subscribe if you want to.
That would be great.
Even if you don't
More
want to.
people and more views is always better.
You have to do it.
We've been having fun. We've been having fun making game videos so far, and we're also putting up podcasts on there. So
Yeah.
check us out. We just started. The more support we get, the better.
Kenny has a complete playthrough of Mega Man, the original one.
Within a couple days, there will be a complete playthrough of Mega Man 2 up also.
Yes, I also started Wild Arms. I have started my Let's Play of Legacy of Kain Blood Omen, of which I have yet to get back to because roadworks outside of my house are absolutely driving me insane. Like, they haven't left for last week. So, it started, by the way, it started exactly the Friday after I uploaded the last Legacy of Kain. So, I re-uploaded that because I had sound issues. So, yeah, it was last Thursday when I last did it.
And then we've got Grim and I have an ongoing Divinity Original Sin Let's Play.
You go ahead and get back to.
We will. Yeah, I was gonna say that we'll get back to again when he's able to record because of when he's able to record without having audio issues like road work going on outside. 'Cause, yeah, 2 weeks ago, I was having chainsaws running constantly outside my window. As soon as they stopped with that, road work started outside his. So it's just not been conducive right now.
The worst is when it's been in the morning.
We'll get back to it.
Yeah. Yep. The worst is when it's in the morning and I'm trying to. I'm still at least sleeping. Around 7 o'clock, I'll have the window open because it's British summer. Even though it's normally cold out here, I like to have the window open, and it's just sort of like, and I'm like, oh. Yeah, that's just kind of what's been happening. So.
Yeah, pretty much.
Indeed. But yeah, so we got plenty of things that are already ongoing, a lot more to come. just please check us out. If you have a good time watching our stuff, then that makes us happy. And if you like us enough to recommend us to someone else, that would be great too.
Do it regardless. You have no choice.
We're trying to get you to promote us.
You have to do
Or
it.
at least to check our stuff out. We'd be happy if you promoted us.
Yes.
We got to be less blatant about it.
No, do it.
Just walk up to someone on the street and go, "Hey, I'm promoting these guys. Watch them."
Yeah. We will give you a hearty thank you if you tattoo our site banner that we have on our YouTube page on your forehead. If you get that tattooed on your forehead, we will officially thank you.
Maybe.
Only if it's good quality.
Yeah.
No 2-bit stuff.
Yeah. It has to be at least 8 bits.
Yep. God.
All right, we should end this now. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.